This is the story of Arab, a Fortnite pro who quit streaming to travel the world, exploring some of the most dangerous and uncharted corners of the earth, even running into some of the most notorious criminal organizations known to man. But switching to this type of content might have been one of the biggest mistakes of his entire life. Arab began his content creation journey by testing out the waters of YouTube through the few comedic videos he made from 2016 to 2017. While these early attempts didn't quite strike gold, they hinted at the entertainer Arab would become. He eventually found his passion for Fortnite in July 2018, when he uploaded his very first Fortnite video, showcasing his strategic mind and impressive skills. From that day on, he began to take YouTube more seriously, posting highlights of his gameplay almost daily. He started to gain some attention for the intelligent and skillful plays that he had posted. And at the time, where most of Fortnite's players were still learning the game's mechanics, Arab was already ahead. Soon, Arab would start streaming, continuing his journey as a professional Fortnite player. Because Arab's dedication wasn't limited to content creation, he honed his skills through relentless practice, eventually entering tournaments. He secured impressive performances, and many of them, coming second place in FNCS Chapter 2 Season 2 Week 2. He had proved that he could compete against the best, even emerging victorious in a $2,200 tournament hosted by POQ Esports, defeating established pros like Booga, Clix, and Miro. Arab always loved the strategy that was involved in Fortnite, which led him to start focusing on coaching various pros like Reet, Clix, Fresh, Muzz, Queasy, Savid, and many others. But his competitive gameplay and strategic mind wasn't the only thing leading to his success. He also was known for his comedy, which can be traced back to his upbringing. Although Arab was born in Atlanta, Georgia, he spent countless summers of his childhood in Lebanon, and it has made a huge difference on his personality today. In a video titled "The Story of Your Fellow Arab," he talks about the huge comedic influence that living in Lebanon had. Comedy has always been one of Arab's main focuses when it comes to his content, and it's also one of the biggest reasons for his success today. By 2020, Arab's channel was flourishing. His subscriber count was steadily growing, fueled further by the surge in gaming content consumption during the COVID-19 lockdowns. He reached a significant milestone, surpassing 150,000 subscribers on YouTube. Additionally, during a charity stream, he managed to raise a remarkable $25,000 for a worthy cause, supporting his home country in Lebanon after a massive Beirut explosion in 2020. However, during COVID, where everyone was locked inside gaming, watching gaming videos and streams all day, many people started to get tired of it all, including Arab. He eventually saw a decline of income and subscribers, and knew he wasn't going to reach his full potential if he continued to create Fortnite content. Arab decided it was time for a change, and embarked on a new chapter, transitioning away from the familiar territory of Fortnite and towards IRL content and vlogs. He documented his travels across the globe, capturing the essence of diverse cultures and forging connections with new people, some of whom he'd met during his Fortnite days. This switch to IRL content began a new era in Arab's life. With his sudden switch, there was initially a dip in viewership, although his audience adjusted to the new format and more people discovered him. After a year, he released a pivotal video titled "I'm Lost," where he acknowledged that it was time for another change. He realized that he wanted to focus on YouTube more. He eventually started to post even crazier adventures, which was a massive turnaround compared to the previous vlogs. His new videos showcase him exploring places like the Nigeria's floating slum, or delving into the heart of South Africa's most dangerous hood. He didn't shy away from dicey situations, even interacting with some of the world's most notorious groups, like Rio's most dangerous gang. This particular encounter resulted in his most viewed video to date, with a staggering 11 million views. Arab's pursuit and capturing the unseen pushed him to the edge, because he had also spent 4 grueling days embedded with a powerful Mexican cartel. And throughout almost all of his videos, he has risked his life to some extent. But even though he is risking his life, he enjoys it. He enjoys showing his audience the hidden and undocumented sides of the world, and has found lots of success from it. But his luck was bound to run out, and even though he had returned safely in all of his travels, fate had other plans for his future. Now, the reason you clicked on this video: the kidnapping. It all began when Arab traveled to Haiti to film a video and interview a Haitian gang leader nicknamed Barbecue, who had previously released 4,000 inmates into the streets of Port-au-Prince, Haiti's capital, throwing the country into disorder. Recently, many people have fled the country due to all of the violence that takes place, and as of now, is the most dangerous country to visit. But as you know, that isn't going to stop Arab from going. He began his travels with his fixer Sean Sakura, and upon his arrival, he stayed at the Sadama Hotel, 6 hours away from his destination, Port-au-Prince. During this time, he recorded a video before he drove to Port-au-Prince, where he explained that they're going to leave early in the morning after dark to avoid any problems with the various gangs. things. However, even with this extra precaution, Arab and Sean were stopped during the drive by a group of Mawozu gang members who were each holding assault rifles. They escorted them out of the car and threw them into a dark trailer where they sat in silence for a couple hours until the king arrived. The leader of the gang, named Lanmo Songju, who all the members called the King, arrived and took them to their holding place miles away from any human civilization in Croix-de-Bouquet. If you didn't already know, Lanmo Songju is on the FBI's most wanted list with a $1 million reward, and in his past has kidnapped 17 victims on top of the involvement in torture and beheading. So this guy is clearly someone nobody should be messing with. As the King and the other members drove the captives to Croix-de-Bouquet, they told Arab and Sean to let their families know that they were kidnapped and held hostage. Arab knew that if he told his mom, she would have a heart attack, so he called his brother Eddie. Eddie owns a marketing company, so was too busy to answer the phone to call Arab. Arab texted saying, "I'm kidnapped, you're negotiating, and lastly, so weird," which means take a video in Arabic. As the text chain was unfolding, the gang members were watching every word, and Arab knew he needed to be secretive. They have all lived in Haiti their whole life and definitely wouldn't be able to translate Arabic. In the chat, Eddie replied, "Are you serious?" Arab then assured him that this wasn't a joke, also pointing out that he was safe and being taken care of. While Arab was kidnapped, he had befriended the members of the Mawozu gang, especially the King. Because of this, he was given cigars and beer and being treated like one of them. On top of that, by ensuring that they didn't view him as an enemy, Arab would be even more likely to make it out without being harmed. As you can see in the video, Arab and Lanmo Songju were very friendly with each other and clearly enjoyed each other's company. And even though he was kidnapped, he was being treated fairly well. But this only lasted the first day, because as the days went on, it became even more apparent to Arab and Sean that they were indeed kidnapped, and it wasn't a joke. Lanmo Songju video called Eddie, demanding a $600,000 ransom for Arab's release. Eddie knew that he could get him out with a much lower amount that they would accept, so he began to negotiate, even saying that he wouldn't be able to get any big money out right away, hoping that they would respond by lowering it, shown in these texts. But time went by, and Eddie didn't receive any response to any of his texts. He thought that the gang possibly read the messages and understood that Eddie would never gather up the general amount of money that they desired, and they would just give the whole ransom up, resulting with violent actions against Arab. One missed video call later, Eddie texted back to avoid any harm to Arab, saying that he found a way to get the money, most of it. A day later, on Arab's second day, he texted saying that they agreed to lower the ransom to $300,000, and it might go down later, so he insisted for Eddie to continue stalling, and he did. But he was still looking for a way to get his hands on $300,000, even buying prop money to pose as half of the ransom. But getting the money was the least of the problems, because delivering it would be a whole lot worse. Traveling to Haiti untouched with hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash and getting out without being kidnapped themselves was a near impossible task. Back in Haiti, as Arab and Sean were living day by day in the small concrete prison in the middle of the desert, terrified of anything violent that could unfold, they still had a lot of time on their hands. As the days went on, Sean put together an intricate escape plan, which was to sneak out to a metal shack as it was raining while everyone was inside, break the fragile roof, and use cushions to cover the barbed wire, and run as fast as they could in the opposite direction. They also would take rubbing alcohol that was located in the shack and cover themselves so their body odor wouldn't alert the guard dogs. Although they had a genius escape plan that they could easily execute during the night, they still had hope that they would get out in a much safer way. At this point, Arab still did not want the internet to know about the situation, but that didn't last long because soon the information was out, about 2 weeks after he left. On March 28, 2024, Arab's brother, Lalim, posted a tweet saying, "Tried keeping it private for 2 weeks, but it's getting everywhere now. Yes, Arab has been kidnapped in Haiti, and we're working on getting him out. Love y'all, he'll be out soon." The news began to spread like wildfire around the internet, and many other content creators began giving their support and prayers for Arab. But it wasn't just the content creators that saw the news online, because one of Arab's kidnappers, who was also the gang's translator, read about it as well. He saw it as a huge threat to their gang, and especially the king. So to retaliate, the translator proposed an idea to the gang, which was to make a video with Arab and Sean, and explain that they were guests in their house and were not kidnapped. Before they started recording, they gave them both new clean clothes and sat them down on the couch with the king. In the video, the king explains that there are guests in their house and even have air conditioning. Arab and Sean went along with all the things he was making up because they were surrounded by guards holding AKs. Unlike the first couple days, Arab was clearly more worried this time around, and rightfully so. He clearly felt uncomfortable and desperately didn't want to upset the king. But he didn't have to be worried for long, because that same week, Barbecue, the initial gang leader that Arab went to Haiti to interview, actually convinced the king to release them without any ransom. Right after they had filmed the video, on day 17, Arab and Sean were finally being escorted out to be released. Arab had fully expected to get all of his stuff back, like his computer and camera equipment, but the members pretended like they had no idea where they went. They wanted to get away with at least a little bit because there was no ransom. Arab obviously didn't fight back, and they drove through the country and met with Arab's negotiator. During this time, Eddie had called in a US Embassy helicopter to pick them up and take them to the airport to finally leave. Arab was relieved that he would finally be going home, but if he wasn't already unlucky enough, right before he was about to take flight, some of the guys that Arab rented the car from spotted him in the airport and demanded money for the car, even though they already agreed on a way to return it. Their intention was to try to exploit Arab and get even more money from the car, and they wouldn't let him leave until they got what they wanted. All of the yelling from the car sellers caught the attention of a police officer in the airport. To deal with the situation, the officer takes them to the local jail, where Arab records a video. Hours went by, and Arab was finally released and made his trip safely back to Miami. Thank you everyone for watching, and this video does not do the kidnapping story justice, so make sure to watch Arab's videos once they are released. The first video in the series before he was kidnapped is already live if you want to go check it out. And lastly, subscribe to this channel so we can make more content like this, and see you next time.